What's up, everyone? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and today I am going to be talking about Game of Thrones. Now, I know that you guys don't like it when I talk about Game of Thrones. From the past video and then the past couple of live streams I've done, people freak out when I talk about Game of Thrones because people don't understand that it's perfectly human to not like certain characters. I don't care if there's a character like Cersei that goes around killing everyone. I am just as entitled as anybody else to hate a typical good character like Sansa. I have hated Sansa since episode 1. I have wanted Sansa to die more than any other character. And if you read the books, you would understand my frustration. I have been frustrated with Game of Thrones, not just this season, but past seasons, because of the fact that they stole another character's story arc and gave it to Sansa to give her, more oomph in the show, to make people feel sorry for her. Well, now everyone's going, well, she was raped. Everything that Ramsay did to her made her into a better person. Well, guess what? None of that happened to her in the books. They stole that from another character. So that way people would, have some backing with Sansa. I hated that. That entire arc with Sansa. Every moment watching it, I was like, this is not what happens to Sansa. This is not Game of Thrones. And I am used to being disappointed of shows or movies that were based on books that got adapted into films. The only thing that I have seen that, maybe makes me kind of okay with Sansa is I like seeing that she was able to come to terms with Arya. That I like because I have sisters too. It's nice to get your differences out there. But still, it's just not what happens in the books, and it's very bothersome. And yes, I know they're going to make different stuff happen in the shows to make it more theatrical as compared to the books, but still, stealing another character's story arc to make your fans like a character more, that's just lazy. It's 100% lazy. Why don't you give your character an actual story instead of stealing someone else's? I thought that was a waste of time. I was very, very frustrated by that. Now, this last episode, what the actual hell? Now, I have said before, and to everyone else's, anger, the fact that I've said this, Tyrion is my favorite character. I want Sansa to die, and I want to see Tyrion do cool stuff, and I want to see the Tyrion Lannister that I read in the books, that I've seen in this TV show. I want him to have his moment. I was so disappointed when Dany came to the north and Arya sees Jon and she doesn't get excited to see her brother. No, she waits in the shadows and waits for him to go into the tree. And then when Dany comes and everyone's against her because she's not of the north. And then Tyrion, this guy that we know is so intelligent and so good at, just telling it like it is. He looked into his father's eyes. He looked into Cersei's eyes, and he was on trial, and he said, you know what? Screw it. I'm glad your bastard died. I wish I had killed him. What happened to that guy? He just kind of stands there and lets everyone say how uncomfortable they are with Dany. He doesn't come and do his famous Tyrion thing. Let me just come on, lay down the truth. Yo, guys, this is Daenerys freaking Targaryen. She has freed slaves all over the world. She has done all these epic things. And she got Jon Snow on her side, who is your king, so you should stand behind her. You should respect what your king's decision was. Where was that Tyrion? Well, guess what? He came back in this episode. And the only thing that gave me, I guess you could say it was fan service, but I don't think it was fan service, was when he talks with Jon. And then when Tyrion goes and sees his brother and Cersei, which, by the way, okay, the rocks fell on them. Okay, so Cersei and Jaime got taken out by rocks. And you see as Tyrion, okay, so he digs a little hole over the rocks and he goes through, and there's no piles of, the bricks anywhere. The dragon skulls are okay, and Jaime and Cersei just happen to be in the one spot where all the bricks fell on top of them. When you go and look the way Tyrion was walking towards them in the last episode when the bricks were falling down, there should have been bricks there, but for some reason there's this perfect path. And that's another thing. Okay, you could say that certain parts of this King's Landing that they could have cleaned up the debris. Okay, I get it. You have the army, you have the ability, but in the crypt, when it shows that Tyrion is the only one to enter there, there's somehow now a miraculous clear path, which before in the previous episode we would know is covered in bricks, that the entire thing came down. Why on earth is there even still, a first floor of the freaking Red Keep? Because everything fell down into the crypts. It doesn't make any sense based on what we saw in the last episode. So Tyrion sees his dead twin siblings, and he's all sad about it, and then he goes to Dany. We see Jon upset by the way the Grey Worm is killing everyone. Jon doesn't like any of that. I get it too, bro. I get it. I'm 100% with you. Yeah, that's kind of fucked up. It's like, okay, everyone's dead. We won the freaking war. Why are you massacring more people? They're your citizens now. Why would you do that? And yeah, Dany went crazy. Okay, Dany is now the Mad Queen. After all of these seasons, one episode she goes bad. Well, all right. I guess that's canon now. I guess that's part of the Game of Thrones thing. Very, very rushed because the guys wanted to stop working on Game of Thrones to go do Star Wars. All right. So then, when Jon's standing there and you're watching Dany and she comes in with the dragon. Now, this shot was cool. Whoever did the CG on this, great job. When we finally see Dany in the episode after we've watched all the destruction. We watched Tyrion go through the destruction. We watched Jon. We see Arya. And Dany walks up and the Drogon's wings are behind her and it looks like she has wings. That was freaking cool. That shot was epic. And then we have her do her Hitler rant, and she's just like, I'm gonna be the one that I liberated all of you guys. Grey Worm, you're now my head of the military, which, I mean, he technically already was, but now we're making it even more official. And she just stands there, she's like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and we're gonna go free everyone from Winterfell to everywhere. We're just gonna free everyone. Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't under the impression that, anyone was under anyone's command now than yours in Westeros, but apparently, and didn't you just go and free the whole other big continent? But apparently she wants to do the Alexander the Great thing, but she already did. She already did it. She already, freed everyone in the other continent, and now she's back in Westeros, and she's technically already freed everyone. So everything that she says she's gonna do, it's like, girl, you already did it. What are you trying to prove to anyone? And the whole thing, she's gonna be a conqueror. She's gonna continue to conquer everyone. Again, she already did it. So what is the point aside from making her look like Hitler? That's exactly what she's doing that passionate speech. Everyone's getting riled up. You're behind her. Yeah, even when I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, get it, girl. And I'm listening to it, and I'm like, she really sounds a lot like Hitler. Like, I'm hyped up in the moment, but geez, she's like, they really made her go off the freaking thing. And then we have the scene where Jon talks to Arya, and she's like, I know a killer when I see one. It's like, then go kill her, Arya. Then go kill her. It's like she probably moved to the top of your freaking list after that. After you wandering through the streets, you watching all these women and children getting burned alive next to you that were helping you. You watched all of that. Why would you not go kill her, Arya? You could very easily do it. And then when Jon goes, and Jon's talked to Arya, he's talked to Tyrion, which the scene between him and Tyrion was great. I loved that, and I think that having that dynamic between them, and it really had a flashback for me back to the second episode of the first season when Jon asked Tyrion, why are you reading? And Tyrion's like, well, look at me. I'm a dwarf. The only thing, I can't wield a sword like my brother. The only weapon I have is my mind. And now we have the conclusion to that where Tyrion makes the reference. I pissed off the edge of the wall, or I pissed off the edge of the world. I might, this line comes in after, but I'm gonna probably have to go do that again soon. But just seeing how where they both started to where they are now, it's a pretty powerful moment. And it was, I just feel like Jon would have been reacting differently. The way that Tyrion was reacting, I felt fit his character more. But Jon just kind of sitting there crying. It's like, okay, Jon, I understand. You can't be happy. Every woman that you have ever loved, their fate is to die, tragic death, and die, in your arms kind of thing, which is exactly what happened with Ygritte. Now, of course, it's going to happen with Dany, and Jon is faced with that decision. Am I going to kill Daenerys because she's the Mad Queen? And freaking Tyrion's like, well, this is a big thing. Tyrion's really enforcing that, hey, you are the rightful heir. You are the only one that can do this. You are the one that should be leading us. That is what Tyrion is implying. That is what gives him the umph. And he even says, would you have done it? You were on a dragon too. If you had a dragon right now, would you have killed everyone? No, we both know the answer to that. You wouldn't. You tried to stop Grey Worm from murdering someone in the street. So when Jon goes and faces Dany, and she's all telling, this was something that I thought was just ridiculous. She's all talking about she sees the throne. We get that prophecy payoff, how she went and had that vision. She saw the Iron Throne and everything was destroyed, and she's walking up to it. She touches it. She touches the sword. She doesn't sit in it, mind you. She never gets to plop her little perfect Targaryen bum in the throne, but she's there. She sees Jon. She's all happy. She's going mad with power because she finally is getting everything she wanted. She's deliriously happy with all of that, and Jon's just kind of looking there like, and then she's like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this together. And then they kiss, and Jon, as he's asking her the questions, she's like, she pulling the whole, it made me think of Star Wars Attack of the Clones when Anakin and Padme are having that conversation, and they're kind of chilling like in the little grass, and Padme's just like, well, that sounds like a dictatorship to me, and Anakin's like, no, everyone should be made to think the right way, and I know what's right. And Padme's just like, well, who's gonna make them think that way? You? And he's like, maybe not me, I don't know. That's exactly what it reminded me of. Jon just like, so what about this? And Dany's just like, ugh. And it's like, Jon's asking her the question, she's giving him the answer, which Tyrion, solidified in the fact that she's gone crazy, she's a conqueror, she's never going to stop wanting to conquer, even though there's nothing left. But anyway, Jon's just like, okay, and then they have the kiss. Jon does the thing, and she dies in his arms just like Ygritte did, and we get to see her. She doesn't even get a final word. She doesn't even say anything. She's just lovely. Then Drogon comes. And he's like, Mom died! I'm a big, gigantic dragon, and my mommy just died. And he starts melting, and he melts the Iron Throne. Now, I was like, are we finally going to see the payoff? Are we finally going to see if Jon is a dragon? Because we know with what happened with Daenerys' brother in the first season, how he always says that he was a dragon, and he was a psychopath, and then when Khal Drogo poured the metal on his head, he melted. We know that, I'm assuming that Dany would not get affected by that, but, first freaking episode, Dany goes into the water, it doesn't burn her, like, all of her maids are like, it's gonna burn you, it doesn't burn her. So I was like, are we gonna get to see Jon, like, officially, like, kind of prove with the whole dragon fire that he is a dragon, like Dany was, and he's not gonna get affected by the fire? I'm like, please, oh my god, Drogon's going off, like, light up Jon, and Jon, like, not burn. Don't, like, Jon died once by getting stabbed, and Jon won't get killed by fire. This is gonna be epic. Oh my gosh, we're gonna get to see that. And then he doesn't, and Drogon doesn't even attempt to kill Jon. It's like, this dude just murdered your mom. I know you're a dragon, but I know dragons have some intelligence to them. Drogon was smart enough to realize that for some reason he was off in who knows where, at the bottom of the castle, blocking the door. He somehow knew to come at the exact moment after his mommy died and be mad that she's dead, and then set fire to everything, and then pick her up and fly away with her body. I did not think that was going to happen. I thought at least he was going to try to kill Jon because he killed the mom. Even though he's a Targaryen, he has the Targaryen blood. We saw Drogon smell him again, confirming that. Which, I'm so mad. This is completely off topic from that, but it has to do with the smelling of the dragons. We never got that confirmation that Tyrion is a freaking Targaryen, which was rumored in the freaking books. They hint at it because the Mad King had a night with Tywin's wife, which is what drove the animosity between him, which Tywin, gave him even more merit to not be the Mad King's hand and to betray him. And, dwarves run in the Targaryen line. The only 3 people that have faced the dragons in the show, and the dragons smell them and confirms that, they're a Targaryen, was Dany, Jon, and guess what? Tyrion. And it happened to Tyrion before it happened to Jon. When Tyrion went into the crypt and the dragons smell him, the Saren smells him, and they back up because they know he has Targaryen blood. No, they did not even touch on that. They didn't even touch on that. But back into the scene. Drogon now should be, like, I guess, somewhat loyal to Jon because he's the last Targaryen. Maybe Jon can kind of control him. But I was expecting Drogon to either try to kill Jon, regardless if it's a Targaryen, because he's smart enough to know his mom's dead. I'm pretty sure Drogon's smart enough to know that the only other person in the room with his mom is the one that murdered her. But apparently Drogon doesn't care about revenge, even though we know that Drogon is like the most ruthless and the uncontrollable out of all of the dragons. R.I.P. the other two. And so Drogon doesn't even like. And I was like, okay, well, I know she's your mom, but we know that Drogon is not against eating humans. So I was like, is he gonna eat her? Is that what's gonna happen? Like she gets stabbed and then she dies by getting eaten by her own dragon. Like I thought that would have been kind of a poetic justice type of thing, but no, he just picks up her body and flies away. All right, so that's what happens, and then I'm like, okay, so now Jon's gonna be king. Jon's gonna be king, right? You would think that would be the logical step. And when Jon says, I'm freaking Aegon Targaryen, that's my real name. I got all the people that can confirm it to me. That's even what Tyrion was saying. You have to kill her because it's your duty, because you are the rightful heir to Westeros, to the Iron Throne. And then what? It cuts and it's however much time has passed. Jon's in prison. Tyrion's in prison. Tyrion's gonna be executed. We get this scene where we have all of the lords of Westeros and all the lords and ladies, and they're there, and Tyrion they're gonna say, whoa, Tyrion's like, well, I don't want to die. And everyone's like, no, we're not going to let you kill Tyrion because of everything that he did. And then they're just like, Tyrion's like, well, why don't we have a king? Why don't we have a king and queen? We're like, we're all here. We're all the lords. Just make one. And I'm like, okay, cool. They're going to make Jon the king, right? They're going to make Jon the king. Not even once do they bring up Jon as, the heir to the throne. I'm like, Sansa, Jon told you the secret, and you literally in the next scene told Tyrion about it. You guys have all been saying, Jon, you're the rightful heir to the throne. Even Bran has said you're the rightful heir to the throne. Even Sam has said you are the rightful heir to the throne. Not a single one of them brings it up that Jon Snow is Aegon Targaryen, the rightful heir to the throne, and he had the right to kill Daenerys after she murdered everyone. You wouldn't think that his family, that Sansa, Arya, and Bran, even Sam, for God's sake, would say, hey, guess what? He's the rightful heir to the throne. He is the rightful king. Him killing her is somewhat justified because if a king or queen back in this time period wants to kill someone, do you really question it? No, if Robert Baratheon wanted someone dead, guess what? He made it happen and everyone followed him because he's the king. Jon was the king in the north. He was the king in the north at this time. Even though he bent the knee to Daenerys, he was still the king in the north. So Sansa and Arya and Sam and Bran should have said something, but no, not a single person mentions Jon Snow's name as a potential ruler. Him being the king in the north, having the right to say, hey, this woman that I bent the knee to is freaking crazy. Also, I'm the rightful heir. She's in a way a usurper. Let me take her out of the equation. Back in this time, I think he had every right to do so. So why did no one say this? Tyrion, the last scene we saw him in, spent the entire time explaining to Jon that he is the rightful heir to the throne and that he needs to kill Daenerys because she is the wrong ruler and he is the rightful ruler and that he is the one that is going to do things good and that people love him and respect him and he is the one person that always does the right thing no matter what it costs him. So why was his name not even mentioned as a potential king to Westeros when everyone knows it is his blood right? That scene just was like an F you. Everything that we said in the rest of the episode, apparently it doesn't count. Apparently Tyrion thinks now it's okay to give someone, put that kind of thought in somebody's head, say, hey, I respect you, you're the rightful king, everything you do is good and just, and you are a good person, and you're going to do this thing because it is the right thing to do, no matter what it costs you, and that duty, trumps love. And then he just doesn't even acknowledge him that he's the rightful ruler. What the hell is this shit? And then Bran's the king now. Okay, and then Arya leaves. Arya just gets on the boat. Oh, I'm gonna go see what's west of Westeros. Well, guess what? All of us have the map. We know that the world is round. She's just gonna go freaking to Marine, right? I'm assuming, I'm blanking on the exact geography, but I'm pretty sure she's just gonna go back and she's gonna get to Dragon's Bay. She's just gonna make a big loop. So really, maybe that's why in the books, I mean, it's a little bit different about the characters and the Ironborn, and they're like, why is I think it's Euron. I'm pretty sure it's Euron in the book. It could be the other dude, the other uncle. But one of his powers is that he's able to get places faster than anyone. That's one of his qualities. It's one of his powers in the books. Or it's not a power, and I'm assuming, I thought at least, it implied that he is the only one that is aware that he figured out that the world is round. That's why he's able to get from point A to point B really, really fast. But so I'm just assuming Arya's just going to go and she's going to make a big loop. She's going to find that out. She's going to come back to Westeros and be like, well, what the heck? And, oh, okay. Sansa's the freaking queen of the North now? Are you kidding me? When was Jon ever booted from being king of the North? Again, why does nobody talk about this? Everybody knows that Jon Snow is the king in the North. Just because he bent the knee to Daenerys did not make him abdicate his throne. He is still the king in the North. They have said that in previous episodes. Why did they not touch on that? Why is Sansa now the queen in the North? If anything, having Jon sent to the freaking wall, okay, the North, guess what? It doesn't belong to Bran anymore. It's not part of the Seven Kingdoms anymore. No, it's part of the North. It's part of Sansa's kingdom. It's part of the Winterfell. It's underneath that. So Jon goes back to his kingdom, which is not even his. Why did nobody think about this? Why did nobody acknowledge this? Why did nobody talk about this? And then Jon pets Ghost, his direwolf, who's missing an ear. I didn't notice that in the last time. I don't remember if he had it or not. But apparently Ghost lost his ear. Poor Bubba. Poor puppy. But Jon pet it. Okay, cool. He didn't say goodbye to it, but now he's saying hello to it. All right, all of a sudden he loves his wolf again. And then he just goes beyond the wall. Okay, what is the point of the Night's Watch anymore? What is the point of the wall anymore? Because the wall was built to protect the lands of men, all of the men, from the White Walkers, from the monsters that live north. Well, guess what? Those don't exist anymore. When the Night King died, they all died because they were all dead and they were part of the Night King's army. So the point of the wall, the point of the black, it's useless. And again, it doesn't even fall under Bran's rule. It falls under Sansa's. So, I mean, hey, Brom got his castle. The only person in this show that, got everything that they wanted, finally. Like, I guess Sansa kind of got everything that she wanted. But it just, it doesn't, no. No. That's how they ended it. This is just lazy. This is just let me jam every single thing into 6 episodes because we don't want to work on Game of Thrones anymore. We want to go work on Star Wars. This was lazy, this was irresponsible, and this was just insulting not only to the fans, but to George R. R. Martin, to the actors and actresses that were in this show. And, I mean, you can go see all of their reactions. They did not like it. They said that this was going to be disappointing, and it really, really shows. And just, there's so many things in this episode that was just, I wasted years of my life. We waited 2 years for this season to come out, and it was a waste. This is how it ended. This is how Game of Thrones ended. Like this. If this is the way it's going to end in the books, at least I trust in George R. R. Martin as a writer because I have read all the books and I have listened to the audiobooks. I've read the books multiple times and I've listened to the audiobooks when I was in college. Guess what? He does a really good job of writing. He's a good author. And I think he will take his time because those books aren't short and they don't come out back-to-back years. It takes him a long freaking time to write the book because he thinks about things and he spends his time making sure he gets things right. And if this is going to be the ending of the books, I'm not excited about it, but at least I can trust George R. R. Martin to do it freaking justice, to explain everything, so that way there's not all these loose ends like in the show. And I like how the whole prophecy, the Lord of Light, all of that is just gone. We had that plot, and now it's just dead. It's just, what a waste of my time, what a waste of my life, and that is what Game of Thrones is now. That's what it has become, and I am not happy with it. and this sucks. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. And let me know what you think in the comments below. I probably didn't touch on everything, but that's because this is just my initial reaction to the episode, and I will probably do more videos on the subject. And again, everyone, I understand you don't like it when I talk about Game of Thrones, at least from the last video and the last live stream I did about it. You guys don't like the fact that I don't like Sansa. She's a horrible character. I'm allowed to not like characters, even if they are typically good characters. So, if that's the only thing you have to criticize, then, I guess to each their own, but I'm pretty sure that there's plenty of characters that other people like that not everyone likes, and vice versa. So, again, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it, considering these guys are going to be in Star Wars now. Bye, everyone.
If you'd like to send me some mail and see me open it up on a live stream, send it to Anna, that's Star Wars Girl, or TSWG for short, at P.O. Box number 28171, Santa Ana, California, 927998171. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.